All right, so we've got a really interesting collection of articles and research all about AI.
Yeah, it looks like they're really interested in how AI can be used to make a real difference in the world.
Definitely a lot of focus on projects and tools that are actually out there, making a social impact.
Not just theoretical stuff, but things that are already having an effect.
Right, exactly. And that's what we're going to dive into today.
It's fascinating to see how quickly things are moving from research to actual applications.
Yeah, and I think that's where we should focus our deep dive, unearthing those hidden gems.
Projects that maybe aren't household names yet, but are quietly making waves.
Love that.
Hmm.
I've already spotted a few things that even I hadn't heard of before,
Oh, I'm intrigued.
like Project Astra, for example. It's generating a ton of buzz.
Astra.
Some people are even saying it could be a serious rival to OpenAI.
Interesting. I know they just released Gemini 2.0.
Yeah, and that seems to be a big part of the excitement, especially that Flash version. People are saying it's incredibly fast.
The benchmarks I've seen are pretty impressive, especially for coding tasks.
So is speed like a really big deal in AI development?
Absolutely. It can mean faster iterations, quicker deployment of solutions, and ultimately a faster impact.
Right, because the sooner you can get those solutions out there, the sooner they can start making a difference.
Exactly. And the speed of Gemini 2.0, it's not just about raw processing power, it's about efficiency.
So it's like they've designed the algorithms in a way that makes them incredibly efficient.
Precisely. The Google team is pushing the boundaries there.
Okay, so we've got speed, we've got potential, but what about real-world applications?
Well, one area where I think we're seeing remarkable progress is accessibility.
Ooh, yeah, that was a big theme in a lot of the articles you sent.
You mentioned an article about CalSoft and their tool, CalPitch.
Pitch, yeah. I was so fascinated by that one. They developed it to help their own business development team.
Oh, interesting.
But the applications for accessibility are huge.
So how does it work?
It helps with researching potential clients and drafting those outreach emails.
Ah, so it's streamlining the whole process.
Exactly, but it's more than just efficiency. Think about someone with limited mobility or communication challenges
It could really level the playing field for them.
and give them the tools to succeed in a field that can be pretty demanding.
It's a fantastic example of AI being used to empower people.
Not replace them, but empower them. I love that. And it reminds me of another tool we saw mentioned, Llama Index.
Llama Index, I've heard of that. It's for building RAG agents, right?
Yeah, but what makes it stand out is this focus on respecting data permissions, especially within systems like SharePoint.
That's a big deal for a lot of organizations.
Huge, especially those working with sensitive data.
And how does Llama Index handle that?
Well, they've designed it so that no data is actually retained beyond 48 hours.
So it's like they're minimizing the risk right from the start.
Exactly. And they're using Llama parts to deal with all that unstructured data, all those PDFs and things.
Ah, so it's tackling that problem too.
It's a really clever approach.
I can see this being incredibly valuable in healthcare, for example.
Oh, absolutely. Researchers could use it to analyze mountains of patient data.
Identify trends, potentially discover new treatments, all while ensuring patient privacy.
And get this, you ready for this?
Yeah, babe.
Notebook LM. It's going to completely change how we learn and do research. They're doing this big UI overhaul.
I'm listening. What's so special about it?
It'll have features like interactive audio beta. Imagine being able to talk to your research.
Talk to it, like actually have a conversation with the material.
Yeah, ask questions, get instant summaries.
It's like having a personalized AI tutor for any topic you can imagine.
Exactly. And they're really focused on making it super user-friendly.
So this is something that could be accessible to students, researchers, really anyone who wants to learn.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we got to talk about Unsloth.
Unsloth. All right. Tell me more.
Their whole mission is to democratize AI, make fine-tuning accessible to everyone.
Fine-tuning, that's been a major bottleneck for a lot of people.
It's traditionally been so complex and resource-intensive.
Yeah, usually only big tech companies have the resources for that.
But Unsloth is changing that, simplifying the process, accelerating it.
So this could open up a whole world of possibilities.
Imagine small startups, independent researchers, even students being able to fine-tune AI models.
It's like we're moving away from this centralized model of AI development.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that Unsloth is open source.
So anyone can contribute to its development.
It's a true community effort.
I love that. So we've got a lot to dive into here.
We definitely do. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. It's amazing to see how these projects are tackling these real challenges, you know? Like we're moving beyond the theory and actually seeing AI make a difference.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that it feels like we're just getting started.
Oh, absolutely. These are just the early stages.
Like with cowpitch, we talked about it earlier, but I'd love to dig a little deeper into the implications for accessibility.
Right. It's a great example of how AI can really augment human capabilities, especially for folks who might face barriers in traditional work settings.
Exactly.
Imagine, someone with a visual impairment using CalPitch to conduct market research or even, create a compelling sales pitch.
It's so powerful.
It gives them tools and opportunities that might not have been accessible before.
It's like cowpitch is this bridge connecting their potential with real opportunity. And I love the idea of AI as an enabler, not replacing people, but actually empowering them
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's not about automating humans out of the picture, but equipping them to do even more.
to reach their full potential, I guess.
Exactly. And it makes me think about the ethical considerations too, developing AI responsibly.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial. It's not just about what's possible, but how we use it.
Right. And I think the creators of Llama Index get that. Their commitment to data privacy, making sure nothing is retained longer than necessary, that's huge.
It's like they've built in that peace of mind.
Absolutely. Users can trust that their data is being handled carefully, especially in sensitive fields like healthcare or education.
That's so important for people to feel comfortable using these tools.
Exactly. Llama Index is showing that you can be innovative and responsible at the same time.
And that's a message we need to hear more of, right? It's
Definitely.
like AI can be this powerful tool for good. But it's also important to recognize that it could be used for, well, not so good purposes too.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword.
And that's why the work of groups like Unsloth is so important. By making fine-tuning accessible to everyone, they're democratizing the power of AI.
Right, it's no longer this exclusive club.
Exactly.
It's opening up possibilities for all sorts of people to use AI for good.
Imagine community organizations, local businesses, even just students being able to fine-tune AI models to solve very specific problems in their communities.
I love that idea. It's like
Right.
we're shifting the balance of power.
Away from just a few big companies controlling everything.
Exactly. And we're allowing more voices to be heard to shape the future of AI.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Notebook LM. It has so much potential to change how we learn.
Oh, Notebook LM, yeah. That's a fascinating one. What specifically excites you about it?
Well, I'm really drawn to that interactive audio beta feature.
Oh, yeah, being able to actually talk to your research.
Think about it. You could listen to a research paper and pause at any point to ask a clarifying question.
Right, or have the AI break down complex concepts into something easier to understand.
That's like having a personalized tutor right there with you.
And it could be a game changer for accessibility, too. People with learning disabilities, visual impairments, they could really benefit from that.
It's like opening up a whole world of knowledge in a different way.
It's not just about making AI smarter. It's about using it to make learning more accessible and inclusive.
Exactly. I love that.
And I think that's a good point to maybe pause and reflect. We've talked about so much, from accessibility to data privacy to the future of learning.
We have. And we've only scratched the surface. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, all these incredible AI projects that are making a real difference. I wanted to circle back to Llama Index for a sec.
Index, yeah, it's a smart approach.
It really seems to address this key concern that so many organizations have, about data security.
Especially when you're talking about using AI with sensitive information.
Right. They've built this system for creating RAG agents, but with a focus on respecting those data permissions, like within SharePoint, for example.
Makes sense. Lots of companies rely on those systems.
And it's not just basic security. They've incorporated Llama Parse to handle all that messy, unstructured data.
Like those PDFs that everyone loves to hate.
Exactly. It's like they've thought of everything to make this tool both powerful and practical.
I can definitely see the appeal, especially for researchers dealing with large data sets.
Yeah, totally. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier about responsible innovation,
Right. Not just focusing on what AI can do, but what it should do.
considering the ethical implications. And I think Llama Index is a great example of that.
They're showing that you can prioritize data privacy without sacrificing functionality.
Speaking of setting a good example, Unsloth is another one that's really inspiring.
On sloth, yeah. Their mission to democratize AI is pretty awesome.
It's like they're breaking down those barriers that have kept fine-tuning out of reach for so many people.
Fine-tuning has traditionally been so resource-intensive.
Right, like usually only the big tech companies have had the means to do it,
Exactly. But unsloth is changing the game.
making it simpler, faster, more accessible.
So we could start to see all these amazing applications coming from, unexpected places.
Imagine community groups, small businesses, even students being able to customize these powerful AI models.
To address very specific needs in their communities.
That's what I'm talking about. It's so exciting. And I think it brings us back to what you said earlier about diversifying the voices in AI development.
Yeah, we need those fresh perspectives. We need people from all backgrounds and experiences contributing to this field.
Because AI is going to affect all of us. So we need to make sure it's being shaped by a diverse group of people.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from these specific projects to these bigger ideas about the role of AI in society. And it's clear that AI has this incredible potential to make a positive impact on the world.
It does. And I think what's most exciting is that we're really just at the beginning of this journey. There's so much more to come.
And that's what's so cool. We're just starting to scratch the surface of what's possible. And the question I leave you with is, what role will you play in shaping this future? Will you be a user, a developer, an advocate? The possibilities are really endless.